Hi, Rich Leiter here, and welcome to my channel, Thoughts on Writing. I don't know much about anything. I know a few things. I know a little stuff. But sometimes I think I don't know anything at all. But one thing I think I do know, and it would be this. Human beings, people, want to have things their way. They want things to turn out the way they want it to turn out. They want the world to be the way they want it to be. They want the things that they do to be the way they want it to be. The people they meet in their lives, their relationships, to be the way they want them to be. And then you have everything out there that's not you. The universe. And the universe has its own way of looking at things, whatever that is. The universe wants things to be the way it wants it to be. And if there was a contest between what you want and what the universe wants, well, I think that the universe is always going to win, and you're always going to lose. That's kind of what I've learned. See, people, me included, we want to control everything. This is our natural tendency, our natural inclination. We want to control everything. It's just a deeply embedded drive that we have. And I don't even know if we ever get rid of it. We may refine it, but I think until the day we die, we will always have this desire to want to control things. What I want. I've seen this with people who study meditation. They want to be enlightened, and they try and they try and they practice yoga, and they see a guru and they read lots of books on it, and it just doesn't happen for them. And they just keep asking themselves, well, why isn't it happening for me, In other words, they want to control enlightenment. They kind of have a mental schedule in their heads and say, well, how come it hasn't happened for me? And of course, when you do that, you can't control it. You can't control when you will become aware of something, when you will reach a new level of awareness. You just can't control it. You can study, practice different forms of meditation, I suppose, formally, but that still doesn't guarantee that you're going to reach that point of awareness that you want. You may just end up being an eternal student, yoga student for most of your life, is from what I gather, almost everybody does. We end up being in the role of the eternal student. And if you want that awareness, if you want to control it, if you just want it to happen now, well, that's going to guarantee that it's never going to happen for you. Once you want to control something, that's the end of it. The universe does not have a time schedule, and it's certainly not going to be your time schedule. Usually what happens, and this has happened to me, it happens to me all the time, sometimes it happens to me every other day. I want to control something, and then when I see that it's not happening, I get very bitter, I get nasty, I get very ill-tempered. Sound familiar? And then, of course, that goes away. But until it goes away, that feeling of wanting to control it and being bitter about it, it can be a real bitch, It can really, fuck up your day or your week. I see the same thing with artists, with writers, with actors and actresses. They're talented people, and they say, well, why? Well, before we get to that, I mean, I've seen it with let's say with writers and painters and sculptors and actors. They say, why haven't I written that masterpiece or painted that masterpiece yet that I want to paint? God damn it. And they sort of try to create with a chip on their shoulder because in the most important thing in their mind is that they want to control the masterpiece. They want to, again, they want to have a time schedule in which for it to be done, you know. And why isn't it happening yet? Why haven't I sculpted that piece of sculpture that's going to outdo Michelangelo's Pietà? Why haven't I done it yet? That's a bad place to be in, and you're never going to accomplish anything that way. So I see it with artists too, and I see it with myself a lot. And you also see it with people who are desirous of fame. They say, why aren't I famous? I mean, I see so many people who have very little talent, very little ability, and they're famous. And I have so much more to offer the world. So why isn't it happening for me? Same thing. You want to control fame. You want to control the universe. I mean, the world is a very, very big place. It's got, what does it have now? 8 billion people, maybe more now. You know, I mean, it'll happen if it. This is the point. You have to have a mindset to break through that. You have to have a mindset where you accept the fact that if something is going to happen, it will happen. And if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And you don't have any control over that. All you can do is do the best you can. Instead of, for say, a yoga student, instead of constantly having in your mind the notion, has it happened yet? Did I get it yet? Instead of doing that, you have to be in a place where you really just want to do it for the sake of doing it, the practice. Or if you're an artist, you just have to separate that part of you that wants to control everything, wants to control your writing or your painting so that it's a masterpiece, as opposed to the part of you that actually just wants to do it for the sake of doing it. And that's a very, very important point I think I'm making here. You have to separate out that bitter and superficial stuff that wants to control everything. And you have to look inside of you, and you have to say to ask yourself, is there anything else there besides that wish to create a masterpiece, that wish to become famous? Is there anything inside of me besides that? There probably is. Just the part of you that began wanting to create for the sheer love of creating, the excitement of it. That's the part of you that you have to find again. And it isn't easy. And you never find it and it's over. You always will regenerate, or I always go back to being, a person that wants to control everything. Another thing that people do, I'm thinking particularly of people who are into the quest for enlightenment, the quest for that one splendiferous moment when you understand everything and life is a breeze from that point. Well, a lot of these people I seem to observe look to others who have said who are enlightened or have reached a different stage of development, and they want to compare. They want to find out what that person did so that they can duplicate it. But of course that's a futile quest. Every person's road is an individual road, and what may work for one person it may not work for another, will not work for another one. So trying to read books about it, trying to read about another person's experience about it, I mean, you're going to be frustrated. Failure is baked into the cake when you try to approach it that way. I mean, this is kind of a truism. Everybody has to go their own path, but it's also very profound. You cannot compare yourself. By comparing yourself and trying to extract what that person did to your own life, you're dooming yourself never to get out of this mode of being. I mean, I can think of one person I was listening to on YouTube a couple of days ago, and this person said to her teacher, I know that I have to stop thinking so much about being enlightened. I have to stop being so obsessed about it. But what did you do? So they asked the guru, well, what did you do? And then the guru says, well, you have to follow your own path. And then the student says, yeah, you're right. But what did you do? What did you do? They can't get out of that mode of needing to have a way of controlling their enlightenment, of trying to get what they want now. And it just doesn't work out that way. I mean, personally speaking, I've written stories, and I'm working on a story, and I want to finish it. I want to just finish it, and I want it to be great. And it just doesn't work that way. You cannot rush it. I mean, I've written stories that I thought were finished, and then 2 years later, I saw huge gaps in them. Or I saw things that I could improve on, and I couldn't see them before because there was just a part of me that wanted to control it, to get finished with it, to master it so quickly. Art does take a long time. And you cannot treat it that way. It will have a life of its own. If it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't happen, it just won't happen. And you have to stop being fixated on your wanting to control everything. This is true of everything in life. You don't even have to be an artist. I mean, isn't this the reason that people are bitter? They're bitter because they wanted to control things, and the universe said, and they never got over it, and so they remain bitter. It's something that we all go through, we all battle with, struggle with, and it's an ongoing battle. It's not a battle that you win and then it's over with. I don't think I'll ever win it. It's a constant struggle to be in the right place, and I'm not even sure how you do it. Maybe the thing to do is to just keep being bitter and to just exhaust it. I mean, that's what happens to me. I sort of get into that controlling place, and then I just kind of let go again, and I relax, and life is much more enjoyable. And then I can really be in a position where I can do something out of the joy of doing it in anything. It's very difficult to do, and to me, this is like, well, isn't this the key issue in life? You versus the universe. Okay, that's it.